kind of, kind of like greases the path a little bit for the seriousness of it to land, which is like, hopefully the audience is shaking their head going, yeah, I can't believe it too. But in particular to the interview scene that you're talking about, that was a scene that we were trying to get right. And luckily, Kenya Barris, the writer on the project, really did a really great scene of doing that white collar racism, that kind of hidden racism. And what I mean by hidden is that, like, a corporation hiring an African American, not for what they can truly bring to the organization with their ideas, with their culture, with who they are, but because it checks a box that they said to some lawyers that they would be doing. What I found particularly fun that I got to add to it was, like, wouldn't it be great if the guy that's interviewing him is in the company of D&D Digital, which is the Duke brothers that was in Trading Places, that if you watch the original Coming to America, there's a great scene where Akeem hands a bag full of money to those guys that in a whole other movie Eddie Murphy ruined, and they too had that same kind of institutional racism. So it's kind of like a continuing struggle that Akeem and Coming to America more so is fighting without necessarily directly making a movie about it. I hope that made sense.
No, it totally made sense. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Next question will be from Isis.
Hi, I'm Isis. I'm from UCLA, specifically representing her campus at UCLA. And I'm sure that during this past year, the COVID pandemic has completely changed the way that we are producing films and everything. And so I was just wondering, what is the biggest challenge that COVID has presented to you, and how did you work to overcome it?
Well, I imagine that there's going to be some books written in the next couple of years about, 2020. I mean, and in particular, it's funny, I recently have talked to some students at UCLA and the film department, and everybody's kind of worried. They're worried because it is accelerating change in areas that I think film was already experiencing. I can't ignore the fact that when I walk by my 13-year-old daughter's room and she's watching Enola Holmes on her phone, and she's got a big screen TV right there, and I'm like, how'd you find out about this movie? I knew about this movie. And she's like, oh, through TikTok. I was like, you know what? Things are changing. This is not the movie business that I grew up in. We'd watch a trailer, we'd see things on TV, we'd go to a movie theater. But making movies during the time was very challenging. There was probably about like a dozen or so movies that were slated to come out in 2020 of these kind of like bigger studio movies, like Wonder Woman and Top Gun and West Side Story. And I mean, we were all like ready to kind of go, but at the same time, we're also working on the movie. And I would say that we had to edit the whole movie by Zoom, like we're doing right now. So that was really difficult to not be in the room with my editor, to not be in the room while we're doing the score, to not be in the room while we're mixing. But little by little, we all started figuring it out. I would say that the hardest thing for this movie in particular was how to test it. How do you test a comedy when a bunch of people are watching the movie on their laptop, like we're communicating with each other right now, and get that communal experience that you have in a theater where somebody in the second row starts laughing a little bit louder and you laugh at that person laughing. And it's a different experience with a comedy in an audience versus them seeing it on the laptop. However, we're coming out on Amazon Prime now, and a lot of people are just going to be watching this movie either by themselves or in their bubble of friends and family that they're with. And so to some extent, it was a very difficult lesson in how perhaps movies are now consumed, where, yes, I believe that theaters are going to come back. They may have to shift. They may have to change. but we as a culture, as well as an industry, need to realize that my daughter was sitting on her bed watching a movie that she found out about on her phone, and she just started watching it on her phone. I don't know if we can blame her for that. We created it. So things are changing, and hopefully we'll be able to change with it.
TikTok makes me feel old too. Thank you so much.
Good. Good. You made me feel better.
Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you.
Next up is Jennifer. Jennifer Ayala.
Hi, I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out how to turn the camera on.
No problem.
I'm Jennifer Ayala. I'm from the University of Houston downtown. I work for the Dateline staff. And a lot of the questions that I wanted to ask were already in there. Speaking on how you touch on gentrification, child support, all that. I thought that was so important. And that scene in the barber shop was one of my favorites. Like, those guys are so funny. But so my question now would be, are you thinking of a third one?
Well, it's funny, you know, with all the conversations we were just having kind of about that scene where LaBelle is being interviewed by somebody who is in the Duke world. I thought it would be kind of fun to do a sequel where it's kind of a crossover with Trading Places, where Eddie as Akeem would meet Eddie from Trading Places, and do something with kind of like corporate, you know, some sort of corporate villain that somehow this new blended family from Queens and Zamunda would have to kind of like do battle against. And then you could bring back Jamie Lee Curtis, and you can bring back, you know, Dan Aykroyd. I thought that would be kind of fun. And it made me think, like, is there an Eddie Murphy universe? There's a Marvel universe, and there's a Star Wars universe. And could there actually be a world where, you know, the Clumps like are in a movie with Akeem and Axel Foley? You know, I don't know. It just made me think, like, that'd be kind of funny, you know, to have that kind of crossover. But I do any opportunity I could to do anything with Eddie would be great. Nice talking to you. My middle name is Houston. I'm related to Sam Houston. I'm of your city.
Our next question is going to be from Skylar.
Okay. Hi, I'm Skylar. I'm
Hey, Skylar.
from Emertainment Monthly at Emerson College in Boston.
Great.
So a lot of my questions have also been answered. So
No
you were
pressure.
dealing with
Whatever you
a, sorry. Okay, so my question will be, though, like, how did you, so you dealt with a very large star-studded cast. Why did you decide to have so many stars in the movie, and what was the effect on the just production and everything involved with that?
You know, that's actually a question no one has really asked, because that's really an issue with the movie. Not the issue was never, can we get all these stars? Because really all I would need to do was call them up and say, hey, do you want to be in Coming to America? If anything, we had an issue with trying to kind of like keep stars from being in the movie, showing up on the set and saying, I'll just be like a guard in the background. And we're like, no, Tyrese, you can't be a guard in the background, because people are going to know who you are. You're one of the most good-looking men in Hollywood. You know, I'm not going to have a camera pass by you just because you want to be in the movie. But it presents a scheduling problem. You know, the funeral scene alone is got so many different people in it, and they couldn't all be there on the same day. So there were many times that I had to plan out how I was going to shoot the scene, almost like an action scene. You know, I don't really storyboard much, you know, unless I'm doing like some sort of big action moment, and I have to kind of like, tick off like, sequences that'll be done with stunts or sequences that'll be done with effects and everything. But we really had to get down to like really planning how just scenes where people are in one room together would work out, because not everybody's schedules would line up for everybody to be in the same room. But luckily we did have En Vogue and Salt and Pepper on the same day, and we got to enjoy that all in its glory.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And Craig, we've got about 5 minutes left and 2 more questions to get through. So we're going to try to speed through these last 2. Next one will be from Brennan.
Sorry, y'all, I'm long-winded.
It's all good. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm from the Gate Post, which is Framingham State student independent newspaper. And
Okay.
my question was, I was just kind of wondering about the dynamic and the on-set energy between Jermaine and Eddie.
I think that Eddie is aware that there's a lot of gravity around the fact that he's Eddie Murphy, and I think a lot of people, but it's not even just like on a young actor level. I mean, Tracy Morgan's a good friend of Eddie Murphy, but he's still like, he loves Coming to America so much that it was not stressful, but he wanted to do the best he could. Everybody anybody who was a part of our movie was affected by the legacy of Coming to America. So that was always in the room. It's like we're not only in an Eddie Murphy movie, but we're in Coming to America. But I think what was really great about Jermaine is, he's actually a really fine actor. And I think that he did not feel like he had to kind of like lean in and do like basically like an Eddie Murphy knockoff just to be his son. He wanted to bring his own essence to the role and also feel comfortable doing it. I'll tell you the day that I think that he got comfortable was Eddie Murphy is in this glorious red and gold suit, and he's sitting on this throne, and Eddie was a little tired. He was waiting for us to shoot, and he just kind of like looked a little bit put off, and Jermaine turned to Eddie and goes, you look like one of Prince's songwriters who never got credit. Who's mad that he never got credit. And Eddie's eyebrow went up like, are you challenging me? Like, are you making fun of me in a joke? Because do you know who I am? I'm Eddie Murphy. I could like annihilate you. But suddenly like the air got out of the balloon, and people just felt like more comfortable. So I think Eddie's aware of the dynamic, and he tries to make everybody feel as comfortable as possible.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a great answer.
Thank you.
Great. And I think our last question is going to come from Diana.
Okay. Hi, I'm Diana.
Hey, Diana.
I'm representing the Columbia Chronicle at Columbia College of Chicago.
Sweet.
And my question is, I read that you filmed at Rick Ross's mansion. So my question is, what was it like turning what he may consider his own palace into a palace for this movie?
It's a gorgeous house. It goes on forever. It used to be Evander Holyfield's house, and then Rick Ross took it over. I knew it was destiny when I went on a tour in his home, and there was a big framed picture of Rick looking tough, and the title said "Hustle and Flow," and I was like, oh, okay, well, I made that movie. I guess I can work here, and Rick was a huge fan of Coming to America. So I went over to his house and I met with him, and he could quote every line from the movie. I was like, well, I got to get you in here, not just your house, since you're a fan. But from what I heard, we dressed up his house, with Zamundan art and set dressings. But from what I heard, we're supposed to leave, we're supposed to take him away. And I hear that he didn't let us take away a lot of it. I heard that he was like, no, I'm keeping that thrown exactly where it is. You know, that's going to stay exactly where it is. So it was really actually great to work there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Well, we've reached the end of our time. Thank you so much, Craig, for joining us, and thank you everybody for joining us today for Coming to America College Roundtable.
So long, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.